There are moments when the internet slows down for a second, and everyone just breathes. Not because something dramatic happened, not because there was a scandal, not because someone said something shocking that sent everyone into a spiral of arguments in the comment section. Just the opposite, actually. Sometimes the internet slows down because something quiet and beautiful cuts right through all the noise. And today, that moment came from a simple post by Meghan, Duchess of Sussex, on International Women's Day. Just a quiet moment on a beach. A photo taken by Prince Harry, Duke of Sussex, showing Meghan sitting on the rocks by the ocean with their daughter, Princess Lilibet of Sussex. They're facing the sea, the sun is breaking through the sky, and little Lilibet is leaning into her mother. That's it. That's the whole post. And somehow, that was enough to stop people scrolling, which, if you know anything about the internet in 2024, is actually kind of remarkable. Because stopping people from scrolling is not easy. We live in a world of constant content, constant noise, constant drama. The algorithm is literally designed to keep feeding you more and more and more until suddenly it's 2 a.m. and you've gone from watching a cooking video to watching a documentary about deep-sea creatures, and you have no idea how you got there. And yet, one quiet photo of a mother and daughter by the ocean managed to cut through all of it. So let's talk about why. Now, if you've been anywhere near the internet today, you probably already saw this image floating around. And if you didn't, let me paint the scene for you. The ocean stretches out to the horizon, the waves roll in slowly. Meghan is sitting on a large rock, her arm wrapped gently around Lilibet, and the two of them are just looking out at the water together. You don't see their faces. You don't need to, because the entire photo isn't about recognizing them. It's about feeling the moment they're in. There's something almost painterly about the composition. The rocks give the image a sense of groundedness, of stability. The ocean in the background opens everything up. It's vast and endless and full of possibility. And the sunlight streaming down from the sky gives the whole scene the soft, warm, almost golden feeling. Mother and daughter looking toward the horizon together. If you were deliberately trying to create a visual metaphor for hope, for the future, for the love between a parent and a child, it would probably look exactly like this. And here's the thing that makes it even more special. It wasn't staged. This wasn't a photographer hired for a shoot. This wasn't a media team carefully positioning everyone in the perfect spot. According to Meghan's own caption, the photo was taken by Prince Harry, which means this was just a dad with a camera watching his wife and daughter have a moment together on the beach and thinking instinctively, I want to remember this. That's love. That's family. Revolutionary concept, apparently, but there it is. Now, the caption Meghan wrote was short, but sometimes the shortest words carry the most weight. She wrote, "For the woman she will one day be. Happy International Women's Day." And honestly, that line hits a nerve in the best way. Because every parent has had that moment. You look at your child, whether they're a toddler or a teenager, and for just a second, you stop seeing the kid right in front of you. You start imagining the adult they're going to become, the life they'll build, the world they'll walk into, the choices they'll make, the challenges they'll face, the person they're growing into, slowly, day by day, in ways you can barely keep up with. And that feeling is simultaneously the most beautiful and the most overwhelming thing in the world. Because raising a child means holding two images of them at the same time, who they are today and who they might become tomorrow. And that's especially true for daughters, because raising girls in today's world is a layered, complex, incredibly meaningful thing. It means teaching them confidence without arrogance, independence without isolation, empathy without self-sacrifice, resilience without hardness. It means showing them, through your own actions, what a strong woman looks like, what she sounds like, how she moves through the world, how she handles difficulty and joy and uncertainty and love, how she stands up for herself and also lifts others. It means reminding them every single day that their voice matters, that their dreams matter, that they are not too much or too little. They are exactly right, exactly as they are. And that's the spirit behind Meghan's caption. Not "look at my daughter," not "look at our family," but something much more forward-looking. Something that says, "I see who you are right now, and I can already imagine who you're going to be, and I am already proud of her." That's a powerful thing to say to a child, even if she's too young to read it yet. But the photo wasn't the only thing Meghan shared today. She also posted a short video to her story, and it's the kind of video that might seem small until you actually hear it. The camera points toward the ocean. The waves are rolling onto the shore. The sunlight sparkles across the surface of the water. It's gentle. It's beautiful. It's the kind of thing you'd stop and watch for a minute before going on with your day. And then, in the background, you hear a tiny voice, Lilibet's voice, and she says one simple word: wow. Pause for a second. Just sit with that. Because if you've ever watched a little kid experience the ocean for the first time, really, truly experience it, not just see it in a picture, but stand in front of it and feel its scale, you know exactly why that moment matters. The ocean is enormous. It's louder than you expect. It moves constantly, endlessly, in every direction. It smells different. It feels different. The ground shifts under your feet at the edge of it. And no matter how many times you've seen photos or videos of it, nothing quite prepares you for the reality of standing in front of something that big. And when a child encounters that for the first time, they usually react the same way. Every single time. They stop. Their eyes get wide. Their whole body goes still for just a moment. And then something comes out of them that's completely unfiltered and completely genuine. Wow. It is one of the purest sounds in the world, one of the most honest words in the English language, completely uncomplicated, completely true. A child's way of saying, "This thing is bigger than my words, and I don't have a better response, and I don't need one." Adults forget how to do that. We get so used to the world that we stop being amazed by it. We scroll past sunsets. We stop noticing the sky. We rush through our days without looking up. And somewhere along the way, we lose that instinct to just stand in front of something vast and beautiful and say, wow, without any irony, without any performance, without any need to explain ourselves. Lilibet hasn't lost that yet. She heard the ocean, and she said exactly what the ocean deserves to hear. And honestly, watching that little video, you can't help but feel something loosen inside your chest. Because for just a moment, you're not watching a video on your phone. You're back there. You're a kid again. You're standing in front of something enormous and magnificent, and you remember what wonder feels like. That's the gift of children. They remind you. Now let's talk about something that doesn't always get enough credit when Harry and Meghan share family content, because it's actually really thoughtful. In this photo, you never see Lilibet's face, and in the video, you hear her voice, but the camera is pointed at the ocean, not at her. There's something intentional and careful about that choice, and it matters. Harry and Meghan have been consistently, deliberately protective of their children's privacy. They share glimpses, little moments, enough to feel like you're getting a window into their family life, but not so much that their kids become public property. And that is, frankly, one of the most important decisions a public figure can make as a parent, because the internet is not always a kind place for children. Once a child becomes content, once their image starts circulating widely, once people start forming opinions and making comments and treating their face like a meme or a talking point, things get complicated very fast. Things that no child should have to deal with. By keeping their children's faces largely private while still sharing meaningful moments, Harry and Meghan have found a balance that lets the public in just enough, while still protecting the parts of their kids' lives that need protecting, the parts that belong to them, the parts that don't need to be shared to be real. This photo strikes that balance beautifully. We see the moment, we feel the warmth, we get to witness something tender and true. And Lilibet still gets to have her childhood without having her face plastered across every celebrity website and comment section on the planet. That's thoughtful parenting in the age of social media, and it deserves to be acknowledged. Now, let's zoom out for a second, because there's a bigger context here that's worth talking about. International Women's Day isn't just about celebrating women who are already famous. It isn't just about posting quotes from historical figures and sharing infographics about wage gaps, as important as all of that is. It's also about looking forward. It's about the girls who are growing up right now in 2024 in a world that is changing faster than anyone can keep up with. Girls like Lilibet. Girls who will inherit the world we're building, who will have to navigate the systems we leave behind, who will face challenges we can't fully predict, and opportunities we can only begin to imagine. Girls who will grow up to be women who lead, create, innovate, push back, speak up, build things, break things that need to be broken, and remake the world in a better image. That's who International Women's Day is for, too. Not just the women who are already here, but the women who are coming. And Meghan's caption, "For the woman she will one day be," speaks directly to that. It's not just a caption about Lilibet specifically. It's a sentiment that every parent of a daughter can hold on to. Every woman who was once a little girl looking out at something vast and beautiful and feeling that particular mix of wonder and smallness and possibility. Because that's what the ocean represents in a way. Not just water, not just waves, but scale. The reminder that the world is enormous, and you are small, and that is not a frightening thing, it is a magnificent one. Because a big world means there is room for you to move in it, room for you to find your place, room for you to become something. Here's something else worth thinking about. Lilibet is growing up in a way that looks almost nothing like what we traditionally associate with royal children. She's growing up in California, near the coast, with parents who made the extraordinarily difficult and courageous decision to step away from the traditional royal institution and build something new, something on their own terms. That decision cost them a lot. It's not a secret. The years since Harry and Meghan stepped back from their senior royal roles have involved pain, misunderstanding, controversy, and a level of public scrutiny that most people will never have to face. And yet, through it all, they have consistently come back to the same thing: family, their children, the life they are trying to build. No palace corridors, no endless protocol, no having to measure every word and every gesture against centuries of tradition and institutional expectation. Just family moments like this: a beach, waves, a dad with a camera, a mom holding her daughter close, a little voice saying, "Wow." That is their version of royal life. And honestly, looking at that photo, it's hard to argue it's the wrong version. Because what every child needs, regardless of their title or their last name or the country they were born in, is exactly what this photo shows: presence, warmth, a parent who stops to notice the moment, a family who makes space for wonder. Lilibet Sussex is growing up with that, and that matters more than any palace ever could. Can we also just take a moment to appreciate the fact that Prince Harry took this photo? Because I think it says something. There's a narrative out there, and there always has been, that tries to paint Harry as a passive participant in his own life, someone who follows along, someone who is led, not leading. This photo quietly pushes back on that. Because taking a photo like this isn't passive, it's attentive. It means Harry was watching. It means he looked at his wife and his daughter in that moment and thought, "This is worth capturing. This is something I want to hold on to." Not because the world will see it, not because it'll make a good press photo, but because it's real and it's beautiful and it's his. That's an act of love, small, quiet, and completely genuine. And the fact that Meghan credited him in the caption, photo by Prince Harry, feels like its own kind of message, a small acknowledgement. We are a team. We notice each other. We capture each other's best moments. We see each other. That is what a partnership looks like. Now, of course, this is the internet, and the post is spreading everywhere. And the question worth asking is why? Why does this particular post, out of everything posted on International Women's Day, cut through in the way that it did? And I think the answer is simple, because it's universal. Every parent has stood at that crossroads between who their child is today and who they might become tomorrow. Every parent has looked at a small person they love more than they knew was possible and felt that fierce protectiveness and wild hope.
Every person who was ever a child has had that wow moment. That moment when the world suddenly revealed itself as something much bigger and more extraordinary than you realized. The first time you saw a mountain, or a city skyline, or the night sky full of stars, or yes, the ocean. And there is something about seeing that moment reflected back to you in a tiny voice, in a simple word, that reaches past all your defenses and lands somewhere deep and real. Meghan's post doesn't need a long explanation. It doesn't need context or backstory or analysis. It just needs to be seen and heard. A mother and her daughter by the sea, a father behind the camera, a little voice saying, "Wow." That's enough. That's more than enough. One more thing before we wrap up. There is a kind of courage in choosing simplicity when the world expects spectacle. Harry and Meghan exist in a media environment that has always wanted them to be drama, to be conflict, to be the story that never ends, never resolves, never just breathes. And they keep refusing. They keep posting quiet things, real things, moments that don't need a headline to justify them. That is not naivety. That is not ignoring the noise. It is a deliberate, conscious choice to live differently. To say, our family is not content. Our children are not storylines. Our love is not a performance. And on International Women's Day, Meghan made that choice again. She shared something tender and true and small. She wrote a caption that carries real meaning. And she let Harry's photo do what all good photographs do. It let people in, just enough to feel something real. The ocean doesn't care about royal drama. The waves keep rolling in, and a little girl on the shore looked out at all that vastness and said the only honest thing there is to say. Wow. Honestly? Same. That's the whole beautiful truth of it. And if you're a fan of Meghan and Harry, if you follow their journey, if you root for their family, if you believe in what they're building, then this post was exactly the kind of reminder of why. Because beyond the titles, beyond the headlines, beyond the noise, there's just a family on a beach, watching the ocean. And that is everything.